So we're just here with MarmoFilms. So anyone who's unaware, he's a director, filmmaker working in LA who's involved with a ton of different projects, making music videos for a lot of the greats. Done a lot of West Coast stuff lately, and just like to take a second to thank you for coming on because it's pretty awesome.
Thanks for thanks for having me, man. This is exciting.
Yeah. So first things first, how did you get started as a director?
It basically started in high school. I was failing my Spanish classes, and I started making little Spanish videos for extra credit, and it was just became like a passion of mine. I was really into basketball. I played basketball in high school, and then I stopped growing, and then I was like, okay, what now? So then started doing that, and then I went to LA Film School directly out of high school.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so I did directing and editing in LA Film School. And then after that, I was like so much in debt. I'm like, okay, well, I guess this is what I'm doing the rest of my life. So yeah,
It's just how it worked out.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. And then so you said you were in LA Film School. So how long have you been doing it for?
I graduated the LA Film School in '07. So I've been doing it ever since.
Oh, okay. Oh seven.
Yeah.
So decent amount of time under your belt.
Yeah, yeah.
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 And then on that note, so like what's the creative process kind of like? Like how do you go from point A of, organizing, hey, I'm gonna do this video with this person all the way to final product?
It kind of varies on the projects, honestly. It depends on like the budget and stuff. Like, I'm currently part of like an agency where they bring me gigs and I write treatments. So that's like for the higher ups, the process is I'll get an email saying, "Hey, do you want to write to this?" They'll give me a budget. Sometimes they'll have like an idea. And then I sit there, write a treatment, and I send it in, and we see how that goes. For the lower budget stuff, I talk with artists directly, and then we just kind of put together an idea, and within a couple of weeks, we're out there shooting.
Okay, cool. Cool.
Yeah.
And so like how long does that usually take? Like once you actually start shooting the video, how long does it usually take to finish? Is it a day long thing? Is it a week long?
Uh, I would say 99% of my music videos are 1 day shoots, anywhere from
Okay.
like 12 to 14 hours is like a full day for us. And
It's a
then
long day.
editing is like within like 2 weeks for an edit.
Okay.
And then it's pretty much done. But like pre-production, especially on the bigger budgets, it's like I have a week to produce. And then, for example, the Shania Twain video, we from I think we had from when we got awarded the video, we had like a week to put it together, and then the edit was like immediate after. So within like 2, 3 weeks, I think from start to finish, it was done.
That's pretty
Very
impressive though.
fast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's got you really have to meet those deadlines for those ones, eh?
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you have any like funny stories from shoots, like bloopers, anything like that? Anything that's happened that caught you off guard kind of thing?
I wouldn't say funny, but I guess the biggest thing, and since today, our Dijit video got nominated for best top five for best international music video for the Hollywood Music Video Awards coming up.
ਸ਼ਾਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਟੌਪ ਸ਼ਾਟਾ ਜੱਟ ਨੇ ਪਵਾਲੇ ਪਰਚੇ ਤੇਰੇ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਮੁੰਡਾ ਕਰੇ ਖੜ ਕੇ ਦੜ ਕੇ
Yeah.
When we got to set, we had a camera set up, and the camera wasn't turning on, and we couldn't figure it out. We took it apart. We had the whole team put it together, and could not figure it out. We called people up to get another camera. Basically, put us like 2, 3 hours behind. We ended up
Oh
shooting the
no.
whole video on a Komodo camera, which is like a $5,000 camera, just because that was the closest thing we could find. And we were originally going to shoot on a much more expensive camera. And then we started shooting, and we had the matte box on the camera. And the first take, the matte box fell off, and the glass shattered, and it was like $500 piece of glass. So it was just a disaster. And yeah, it was pretty intense, man. Like
That's
the pipes. I was like, we had Dijit on set and NLE Choppa and like Dajee started praying for us, you know, like right then and there. And I was just like, oh my God, what a disaster. Because it was such a big like moment for me for this video, you know.
Yeah. And then everything
Which
starts falling
like
apart.
yeah, so the fact that we just got nominated for this too is like super dope and like kind of like made it all worth it, you know. But I honestly didn't know if we'd even finish the video that day. It was pretty intense.
But like I'm glad it worked out because now you're up for the MVAs for
All right.
Hollywood.
Yeah,
So it worked
yeah.
out pretty well.
Definitely.
But that's funny that you just started praying right away and everyone's just
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
please just let this work.
Right, yeah. It was just like you could just tell there was something working against us for
Yeah.
like the first couple hours of the shoot. So
But hey, you got it done. So that's always good.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It was actually so I live in Brampton and
Okay.
I was back home in London, Ontario, and I was hanging out with some of my friends. It was the day that we talked on the phone. And my buddy heard me playing Saduma Swal and he goes, oh, let me put you on a guy. And he starts playing Diljit from my phone. And I go, oh, I know who he is. I'm actually
Yeah,
talking to the guy who did his music video. And then
yeah.
and he was like, no way.
Tight. That's great.
Yeah, everyone here loves like Sadhu, Diljit, NLE as well, but just like Brampton because of the huge Punjabi culture.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
And so like, what was it like waking up this morning to that news?
It was pretty awesome, man. I wasn't really sure what to expect. We entered like 4 different videos for this award show, and that's the one that got accepted. But it was cool. It's my first like international nominee for something, so it's pretty neat. It's like, you know, I kind of want to be nominated for every category eventually someday. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Like that's a big step.
Yeah, and I didn't realize how big of a deal this award show was going to be too. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see it up there. Like, hopefully it wins too.
Yeah,
even
we'll see. Yeah, I mean the
is a huge-
competitions. Yeah, the other videos are really good, so we'll see. But yeah, just being in the company, like I think there's in one of the international videos is with like Travis Scott too. So the fact that like it's like, whoa,
oh my god,
you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
And you said Post Malone as well too.
For the best music video of the year, yeah. So that's still pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So on that note, when you were working with Emily on that video, there's an old video and it was Lil Wayne getting flowers and giving a lot of respect to NLE because he went about it the right way and gave him flowers and thanked him. And did you find that he was also a really solid dude to work with on set and everything?
Yeah, super polite, super like very good manners. I was super like shocked, you know, how like like he acted with everyone, shook everyone's hand. He took pictures with everybody. Yeah, he was super dope to work with. And there was a scene in the music video where like when he's like by the rocks by the pool with all the women, and I gave him a glass of champagne and he's like, oh, I don't drink. And then later I found out he's like, I don't even know if he's like 21 yet, or he wasn't 21 at the time when we shot the video. And I was like, oh wow, he's so young. It's crazy. I didn't even know.
I think he started when he was like 16 or something crazy.
Yeah.
And he's been grinding. So
it's pretty cool.
Along with NLE, like you've worked with Shania Twain, you've worked with Be Real.
Information to catch a beat down, that's transformation. We'll serve for the rivals when you're set tripping. If they catch you out of bounds, that's caught slipping. Better know the fucking area. You might be on the corner fucking up another city, bitch. That's the paper if you want to be a baller. If you're looking for permission, better see the shot caller.
It was great, like
legend.
Yeah, Cypress Hill. I remember growing up on Cypress Hill and my brother showing me them. And then you've also worked with a lot of West Coast like rising stars. Like you've done a lot with Coyote, the duo.
Yes.
So what's it like kind of being a part of that? Like, for instance, watching Coyote Balloon.
It's pretty crazy, man. I started shooting videos for Coyote back in 2021 when they had like, 20,000 followers, I think, and now they're like over 100,000. So it's been a journey, dude. And the first video we did, it was just like on a ranch, and it was just literally me and an assistant. We went out and shot it, and they found me actually through another video I did back in the day. That was a super low budget video, super random, and that's how they found me.
Okay.
So it's a pretty crazy how we connected in that way. But yeah, I mean, I think I've done close to 10 videos with them now in the last 4 years. And obviously we keep progressing too. So it's crazy watching them, but I'm pretty close with them now too.
Hey, I was walking at the grocery store the other day and some guy asked me where I'm from out the blue. I told him Arkansas, and then he proceeded to get aggressive.
LA got his own language, buddy, let me break down the slang. When they ask you where you from, they wanna know if you bang. They probably ask you cause you look just like the opposite gang. So be careful what you wear depending on where you hang. On the dead homies, means somebody telling the truth. When that fake bitch means somebody trying to fight you. If somebody says palabra, that means one or two. They either asking you a question or confirming the truth.
Yeah, no, like I noticed that you did a lot of videos with them. That's it's gotta be pretty sick. What's it like working with like the greats, like Be Real, Shania Twain?
Be Real's dope, man. This is actually the slang video that was released. That was my fourth video with him. I did 2 videos in a group, Serial Killers, with Exhibit and Demrick and Be Real.
Yeah,
so that's how
one.
I first met Be Real. So then when Coyote brought me with that, I was like, cool, I've already worked with him. But yeah, super professional, super easy to work with. You know, when you work with the bigger people, it's super cool. They nail it in like one take, you know. So when you have limited time with these people too, so you kind of have to be on your A game. But it's pretty crazy, man.
It's like a higher tier of getting on. Yeah. So how did you end up getting involved with you mentioned like Coyote kind of reached out to you from an old video, but I've seen you like you've been involved in the West Coast rap scene for quite a while now. So how did that kind of come to be? Like, are you from the West Coast or?
Yeah, I live in Orange County, so pretty close to LA. But about 2019, 2018, I started working with Murs, HipHop LA legend. And so I was doing I did like all his videos for 3
Lost the battle, baby.
Your story will end before it begins. I throw your demo CD on the floor of my Benz. I got 4 girlfriends, 1 ex and 2 main chicks.
I saw that. You've done a lot of his.
Yeah, through him, I like networked with so many different people, and it kind of branched out. Like through Murs, I met Locksmith, and then Locksmith, I met Exhibit, and then through Exhibit, I met Be Real, and it all kind of trickled down. You know, it's like every video I shoot that has a feature kind of like leads into another gig, and then builds relationships that way.
So there's just a lot of networking.
Yeah, the whole West Coast scene really started with Murs, though, I would say.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah. So I know I did like a bit of a deep dive and I saw like the Murs and all that stuff. And you did a lot of his videos dating back, like way back.
Yeah. So it's been a fun little journey.
Yeah, no, sounds like it. So getting to know all these big names in music, is it like strictly business or do you sometimes have fun and go out with them or?
It all varies. Typically the lower budget videos, I do build relationships with them, you know, but the ones that are like more like I have to like write treatments for through emails and stuff, I actually don't even talk to the artist till the day of. So I don't really have like a huge relationship with them, but I feel like the lower budget ones, I do build a relationship because it's more like I have to communicate with them more directly, you know, because there's more they have to be involved in as well.
Yeah, no, for sure. That makes sense. And then how big is like the team that you're usually going with? Because I watched like the behind the scenes for Muhammad Ali, and it seems like it was a pretty large team that you had working with you.
Yeah, I mean it varies, man. I'll have anything between like 10 to 12 crew members up until like, you know, sometimes by myself. So it really just depends on the budget. The budget kind of dictates how big my crew is. But I have a solid like, you know, 5 to 10 guys that I have on all my shoots.
Okay. So 5 to 10 is like kind of like the staple and then just
I mean the bigger the budget, the more people. Yeah.
Okay. And then so when you're not doing that, what's your day-to-day like?
Oh man, basically full-time editor. You know, I edit every single one of my videos you've ever seen. So I'm always on the computer editing, and if not, you know, just looking for gigs and doing research. I watch music videos all the time on YouTube. Trying to like elevate my game and learn new techniques, and just study the game, you know, listen to new music, find out these new artists that are coming through, and
and see if you can work with them and try to stay in that mainstream kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And so I noticed actually you were at the 2024 Bend Music or Film Festival, and what was it like being there?
It was probably one of my favorite film festivals, man. I've never been to Bend before, and just the whole city is like a Hallmark movie. And that was like I had the Shania Twain video was the one nominated for the best music video on that, and it was pretty cool, man. A lot of the other like feature films and stuff are all Netflix films that are actually on Netflix now, so it was a good company to be in, and it was a great networking opportunity for sure.
I mean, it looked pretty wild too, like everything they had set up.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Um, Also, so I grew up with Pimp My Ride, like we were talking about Exhibit a minute ago. What was he like? Because like my dad and I used to watch Pimp My Ride every night when it came out.
Oh man, he's so cool. He's so down to earth. I've been to his studio a couple of times with Locksmith. We actually one of the music videos I shot with Locksmith was actually in Exhibit studio. But yeah,
Really?
man, he's super cool. Yeah. I might be shooting a video for him someday again too soon. So we'll
That'd
see.
be
But
sick.
yeah, he's super dope.
That's pretty awesome. I also noticed when I was going back through all of your Instagram stuff and trying to do some research that Black, you said he's one of your favorite
Yes.
artists. He's actually one of my favorite
Yes.
artists as well. What was it like working
Yeah.
with him? Because that's awesome.
Oh, dude, he is epic, dude. I was like starstruck for sure for him. We only had him for a couple hours, and of course we had technical difficulties. It seems like I always try to like push the boundaries of our budget, what we have to work with. But yeah, he was super dope, and it got down to it where he only had like so much time left. They were
Yeah.
telling me like, oh, he has to leave. So we did like I think 10 takes in a row, just kept recording and just knocking out his verse, and he would just powered through it with me, and it was great, man. And it was kind of like out of his element too. Like I don't know if you've seen the video, but he's like on Mars for the video.
Hmm.
So he was like in a weird like outfit, and it was different from what he typically does. So that was kind of fun to get him out of his element.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, because usually his element's more like, streetwear, walking on a beach somewhere,
Right.
talking shit. Like,
But
yeah.
yeah, it was definitely a surreal experience. Like I got to go to his concert too, and he was a great live performer as well.
Yeah. Man, I'm jealous. I need to go to one of his concerts.
Yeah, you should go, man. It's pretty amazing.
um, and then also you were working with Mario Lopez, right? On that for that one shoot. I think it was with
Yeah,
Coyote, right?
Pocho. Yeah,
Yeah. What was that like? Because he's one of the Latino like comedic greats and host
yeah,
greats.
legend. Yeah, actually, he was super dope, man. We gave him the script the day of for the little skit in the beginning. He like pretty much memorized that like immediately and super professional. He had a UFC event he was hosting. I think he has like 20 something jobs, which is
Oh my
crazy. So the
God.
fact he like gave us, we were only supposed to have an hour with him. We ended up getting like 2 hours, so that was super cool.
Pretty awesome.
But yeah, man, he was super professional. You could just tell like he's a great hard worker. Obviously it shows.
Hey, so trip out on this. I was at this bar last night, and Coyote walked in.
Yeah.
But he just did a comedy show at the Laugh Factory on Friday that we got to go to. So I got to see him again, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I saw your post about before security jumped me.
Yeah. I was
Uh,
supposed to have cameras out at comedy shows, but
you got
I was
that
like
quick
filming
little-
it because my video was on the screen. I was filming it, and then the security came, and I was like, "Yo, that's my video." And he's like, "Oh, I don't care." And I was like, "Bro, like these are my people. Like I work with them." And they're just like, "No." And I was like, "Dude, like I get it for the comedy show if like you're filming the sets. That's why you can't film like the comedy, but it's like I don't know."
Yeah,
So
your
that's why
video's
I
up
had to,
there. You're like, come on.
yeah. So I had to do a little joke in the comments, like I got jumps.
No, that was good. Uh, so like what would you kind of have like advice or tips to give someone who might be trying to get into filmmaking or directing, specifically in the music video field?
Man, it's super competitive these days. It's super hard. I would say network,
Yeah.
network as much as possible. Networking is the number one thing, and that's basically how I get all my gigs is networking and meeting people, and then just getting yourself out there. Big thing I'm trying to do this year is to have be more visible on Instagram and social media, and like show my face and talk more. I'm a super introvert, so this is all kind of new to me, like putting myself out there more. But
Yeah.
yeah, put yourself out there and network. You I go to a networking event every month in LA with all the filmmakers and stuff, and just like meet and greet type things. So do that as much as possible. And if you're just starting out, get on as many sets as possible, even if you're working for free. it's all valuable. You'll learn something every shoot. So that's definitely what I recommend for sure.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You getting out there is always the hard part, especially if you're introverted, because you're like, oh, now I have to put my face on there. I actually have to talk.
Yeah.
But yeah. And like you said, it's pretty competitive, or very competitive. So
Very.
as a director and filmmaker in LA, as one of like the biggest staples, I think I'd say that's up there with, like that New York, Toronto, Vancouver. Those are kind of like the North American ones. Do you think LA is a little more competitive, or do you think it's probably the same as every major city with just because of Hollywood is usually what I would think?
It's kind of hard to speak on all the other places, but in LA, it's extremely competitive, man, especially these new up and coming artists or like directors, new up and coming, these young kids are getting to shoot like, free videos for artists. And it's like, so it's because of social media now, quality is kind of degraded a little bit where quality is not as important. So I feel like a lot of these artists are shooting free videos with people that want to shoot them for free and stuff. So that kind of hurts the people that have better quality and better like visions and stuff. So that makes it more competitive as well in that sense. And yeah, just trying to stay up with all the new trends and up to date and stuff it's pretty crazy. Especially been doing this for like 20 years now, it's gotta have to like innovate and try new things and new techniques and stuff,
When like new technology is always coming out, and like you said, social media has become such a massive thing in the last 10, 15 years, right?
Yeah, like everything's vertical now, man. So it's kind of like, I was so against vertical for so long, but you kind of have to cave into it and like do it sometimes,
Yeah, for sure. So what are some up and coming artists or even big names that you would love to work with?
Oh man, that's a good question. Definitely like one of my favorite artists is Post Malone. That's someone that's like on my bucket list someday,
Yeah.
But basically, dude, the whole underground hip hop scene, I would like to work with pretty much all the artists that are out there, it seems like I'm do a lot of West Coast stuff, so like probably more West Coast artists for sure. But yeah, man, it's I kind of like after doing Shania was like my first non hip hop project I kind of did. But definitely want to branch out, man. I want to do some rock bands. I haven't done any rock music yet, so I'd love to do that. That's definitely something I really want to do soon. But yeah, I kind of want to diverse myself more into different genres.
That's cool. Yeah, and like rock usually has like that I don't even know how to say it, like that flair. Like it's got a lot of shit going on in the video.
Yeah, and just to shoot some like band performance shots too. I think I could do some really dope stuff with that. So
yeah, that'd be really cool to see. And then in terms of like the underground scene, like you said, you keep track of it. Like you're watching a lot of videos during your day to day, trying to keep up with it. What do you think of like how the underground scene has kind of turned in the last 5-ish years, since like 2018, maybe even?
I think with social media and stuff now that the underground scene is actually bigger than it's ever been, and it's more exposure. Like you don't need record label anymore and all that stuff now. So I think the whole underground scene is definitely popping off more than ever, which makes my job more competitive and harder to do because there's more people shooting for that stuff, And then music videos aren't such a big deal anymore as they used to be. So, a lot of artists prefer like one take videos for Instagram than shooting a full blown music video.
Yeah.
So it really just depends,
But it also just like takes away from the quality of like you were saying earlier, right? That takes away from the quality of like a great video like Slang or Muhammad Ali or Giddy Up, where it's like there's all this time spent into it.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, like I grew up watching music videos, so I love it, and I think music videos are a representation of artists, right? And like that's how you really get to see an artist's personality and how they really are, and like based on their music video. That's how I always judged it. So I hope we make a comeback someday with these music videos. I hope there's a passion for it and stuff. But like the TRL days, man, was like my favorite time.
Yeah, like I remember growing up with much music videos on TV on Channel 29. Yeah. You just go there after school. You'd watch that for like 4 hours, get in trouble for not doing your homework.
Right.
All honestly, I think that about I think I'm pretty much out of questions here.
Okay.
But yeah, no, that was great. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
Let's see. Um, yeah, I mean, just circling back on like people that are like up and coming directors, it's just, network as much as possible. If you have opportunities and it's not paying, like, I would say do it, like any opportunities are good opportunities, I feel like,
For sure.
and just network your ass off and and times are gonna get hard, man. It took me out of the 20 years I've been doing this, I've kind of only been doing this full time for maybe like 5 or 6 years, I did wedding videography for a while. I still do it once in a while, but I don't like promote myself. But I was like full blown shooting weddings for a while I was doing music videos. But it's a struggle, man. You got a lot of sacrifice, a lot of hard times,
Yeah.
a lot of slow seasons, but you just gotta, if you really want it, you gotta keep grinding. And I think it pays off in the end, as you can tell with like, the slang video and now this is this is the stuff that makes it all worth it. So
Yeah, because what's Slang at now? Slang's at over 1 million now,
yeah, in
which
like
is
less than
crazy.
in like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's insane.
yeah, 'cause, like that's how we connected, was that comment I left when you guys first posted about it, and then yeah, I think yeah, that's a crazy video too. So is the Muhammad Ali
Yeah.
video. They're both insane.
And just the whole idea for slang too, dude. It rained. It was like a 60% chance of rain, and like 10 minutes before B-Real got there, it started raining, and then it was oh, it was so stressful, dude, because the budget wasn't big enough, so it was just me that rolled through. We knew we were shooting at their grandma's house. I was lucky enough to get some like interns on Instagram. I put out a blast for some help, and I had some people help me for free, which was super, super helpful. But I didn't have a shot list. We didn't really know what we were doing. We didn't even know what rapper was going to do what scene. We kind of just freestyled it, and then 10 minutes before B-Roll got there, we had thunderstorm, rain, and then he chilled for, I think we chilled for like an hour before we even started shooting. And then, so we are just like shooting in this wet, cold weather. Almost didn't think it was going to happen again, but that like it made it like I had no idea how big this video was going to be, so it was pretty cool.
It's good that it worked out. Seems like there's a lot of issues that come up at the beginning of video shoots.
That's what I tell everybody, man. I'm like, something happens every video. Obviously, the more you prepare, the less something happens. But I feel like every video, some type of thing happens. There was a music video I did recently where we had a grip truck and the lock was jammed. We couldn't open the back of the grip truck to get the gear out. All right, so we had to send our PA to go get a chainsaw thing to saw off the thing. So that put us like 2 hours behind, So it's like there's always something, dude. It's like and half the time it's out of your control. There's nothing you can do about it. So you kind of, the more you're prepared, the better. I guess that's another tip too, is just like over prepare, because something is going to happen. Yeah. Even the Shania video, man, like we did 5 locations in one day, which is insane. We had over like 30 dancers, and we had 2 like buses transporting us different locations, and it was insane. I think that was like a 16-hour day. We did it all in one day.
That's such a long day too.
Yeah.
Especially with transporting back and forth and like your mind's going because you're thinking about what the next shoot's gonna, like the next scene's gonna look like. It's gonna be really exhausting after 16 hours.
And then the Pocho video, the whole thing was perfect. It was like one location. It was super easy. And then I had Coyote in charge of getting the bottles. In the bar scene, there was supposed to be a bottle that like broke over the head, right? So we got breakaway bottles. So I sent Coyote the link. The day of, we get there, I'm holding the bottle like this, so I didn't want to break, So then we did a take. He like Guapo smashed his head, and his head just started gushing with blood. And it was a real bottle. And I was like, well, he's like, oh, I ordered these on Amazon because they were cheaper. And I was like, oh shit, So like he literally, yeah, he had braids, so I think that kind of helped the impact a little bit. But he like gushed his head. But I'm like, dude, thank God that wasn't like Mario or one of the other people. So we didn't know who we were gonna do it with, so he did it himself. And no one really like tested the bottles because you had to be fragile with them, So like I picked it up, and I didn't think anything of it. But that was just another crazy thing that happened,
That's a pretty wild story. Just bottled himself.
But but that could have been, like he could have went to the hospital and like,
Yeah,
I
it could
don't,
have
it
been
could have got
serious.
way worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Could have
that
halted.
was another lesson. Don't let the artist be in charge of like serious things,
Make sure you're hands on with it.
Yeah. Because he just searched up prop bottles on Amazon and he was like, oh,
This will
he
work.
thought that was good. Yeah. But
Okay.
yeah, something always crazy, man. There's stories for days on that, but yeah.
Right here. So we've got another 5 minutes.
Okay.
Do you have any other crazy stories before we run out of time here?
Let's see. What do we got? What else has happened? Oh yeah, I was shooting a MERS video. We were in the liquor store scene for his short film we did. And he's like, it was like a fight scene, right? And then so we had the guy pick him up and throw him against this grid of like chips and stuff. So we did that. And then after the take was over, the grid came and fell and hit him and busted his lip open.
Ooh.
And we kept shooting, but that was a delay. Blood was gushing everywhere. So a little joke that people say, it's like, oh, you're shooting a Marmo video, like, oh, you're gonna get hurt, like it's like something like I feel like people get hurt a lot. Yeah, I don't know why,
like
it's because like when the lower budgets, you don't have stunt doubles or anything, you're doing everything yourself, and it's like kind of just have to wing it sometimes, and stuff happens. So
yeah, I mean that's it's pretty wild though, between the bottom one and the grid.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I've had I've shot in the freezing cold in Kansas City with my friend UBI, Ubiquitous of Cess Crew. And yeah, we've shot where he was like freezing. We did a beach shoot where he got like secondary burns all over his face because we shot at the beach for like 8 hours straight. My feet was like bubbling. I had like water blisters on my feet.
No way. That's
yeah,
brutal.
crazy things happen, man. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like the exhibit shoot I did, the camera wouldn't turn on too, or one of the cables was bad. Like just something always, man. You're never really fully prepared for what's about to come your way,
Yeah. Prepare for the worst or expect the best, prepare for the worst or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had locations like double book us, on the same day, so we had to like delay it and stuff. So yeah, man, it's been a wild ride. You gotta have really tough skin, and you gotta like keep composure, and it's where all this gray hair is coming from out of nowhere. So
just all the stress.
It's very stressful at times. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we're almost out of time here. But
okay, cool.
Thank you so much again, Marmo. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, that was really good. And good luck with the MVAs. I'll be watching for sure.
Thanks, man. April 5th.
All right, I'll be watching for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, take care, brother, and all the best to you with all your next work.
Cool. Peace, man.